My name is Jared, and today's episode is on how the Senate waited till everybody was busy watching the big game on Sunday so they could go in and vote not to protect our border, not. Dang it. I need to get some better headphones. Not to protect our border, not to protect the citizens, not to actually fund anything that would protect America whatsoever. They went in to vote while you were all watching the big game on funding Ukraine war, funding Israel war, and to make sure to slip in something in there that would get Donald Trump impeached within the first 9 months if he dared take that bill out, if he reversed that bill. Wow, they just don't care anymore. They just openly do it right in your face now. Before we get started, if you would like this video, comment on it, share it with your friends and family. It will help us get seen more. I have the live chat up if you'd like to chat with me. Maybe you have another perception. You see it from a way that I am not seeing it. And I do encourage you to talk with me about it because I want to learn as well. Before we get into it, you can help support us by my wife's tumblers. Here, I'll show you guys. I used to do this on every episode, but I forgot to. Here we go. You can go to vandystreet.com, which if you look in the description, you can go directly to it. And we do personalize these for you. We have some that are already ready to go. My wife and I both designed these. I use an AI platform. She does some of the bigger ones by hand instead of just the sublimation, but we do have the sublimation ones as well. And if you say you want something for a business or a gift, or we will personalize it for you. So just reach out to us. There's an email on our website, or you can see my email in the video below. All right, so let's just get right into it, guys. I'm going to pull up a video of Chuck Schumer talking about it on Sunday so you can see how unusual this is to begin with, right from their very mouth. The last time they went to vote on this, remember, it was about the border, and they tried to sneak Ukraine and all that other stuff into it. And we, the people, said, no, vote on something specifically for our border, or just uphold the laws that are already there. So what they do, they went behind our backs, took everything out for the border, said, F you, and they're sending billions more to Ukraine, billions more to Israel, and have, like I said, slipped in something that will handcuff President Trump where he can act. And it also tells Russia what's exactly going on, that the incoming president won't be able to do a damn thing about anything. Ain't that something? That's how much these people care about you and me. I mean, that should be obvious to the border and everything else by stealing all of our money and giving it to people who are coming in who have never done anything for this country. You know, the left has spent years upon years upon years fighting about free healthcare, fighting about free this, free that, free everything, blah, 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 blah. And what they do, they turn around and they gave it to people who are not even in this country. They're paying all their damn bills. They're setting them up in hotels. They're making sure they get 3 meals a day, making sure they get healthcare. But what are you and I getting? Think about that for a minute. All right, let's just pull this up and then we'll talk about it. And again, guys, I do have the live chat up. Maybe you see it from a different way, and I would love to hear your perspective on it. Yep.
Mr. President, today the Senate gavels in on a Sunday to continue our work on the National Security Supplemental. In about an hour, we will take the next procedural vote on cloture on the substitute amendment. I can't remember the last time the Senate was in session on Super Bowl Sunday, but as I've said,
you hear that? Right from his own mouth.
All week long, we're going to keep working on this bill until the job is done.
We're going to keep working on this bill until the people allow us to force it down your throats. We know you don't want this. We know we don't have the money for it, but we are going to do it anyway, and you are going to allow us to do it, or we'll just force it through. I mean, that's pretty much what he's saying.
Even though we're keeping the process moving on the floor, Democrats still hope we can reach an agreement with our Republican colleagues on a reasonable list of amendments. We're happy to have a fair and reasonable amendment vote. We're happy to have fair and reasonable amendment votes on the floor.
You know how I know this is a lie? Because we already have immigration laws. We already have border laws that you should be upholding to begin with. What all this crap about needing new immigration laws and needing new border laws, just enforce the ones we have, for Christ's sake. How about start with that?
So we'll see if there's any possibility for speeding this process up. But at the same time, it is essential we finish the work on this bill. It's been years, perhaps decades, that the Senate has taken up a standalone bill that so significantly impacts not just our national security.
You see how he just admitted that? Because people like us have been pushing for years that the way we vote for bills is ridiculous. And they should be voting solely on certain issues and just that issue, not adding in all the extra woke DEI crap or CRT crap or funding for Ukraine or funding for some gay studies in another country. Hello, Sharon. Funding for everything but the American people. And he's flat out admitting it. They will go to any lengths to make sure that you are funding this damn war. And if you don't do it, well, they'll do it anyways.
Security, not just the security of our allies, but the very security of Western democracy.
Now, how does it secure us? Huh? Can anybody, please let me know how funding Ukraine, funding Israel, setting the possible incoming president up to where he can't actually do anything. How in the hell does that help the American people? And how in the hell does anybody buy this nonsense? Anybody? I mean, really?
As we speak, Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine has rendered parts of Eastern Europe a war zone, the likes of which we have not seen in those regions since the Second World War.
That's funny because our wars all around the world seem to be destroying countries, but y'all keep pushing to go back in and go in there and do some more. I mean, we got to have it, right? Y'all got to have y'all's money laundering.
War. Ukraine is dangerously low on supplies, including ammo and air defenses.
So are we.
If America doesn't assist Ukraine, Putin is all too likely to succeed, as President Zelensky repeatedly has reminded us. The only right answer to this threat is for the Senate to face it down unflinchingly by passing this bill as soon as we can. Again,
there it is, people. The only way to protect America is if you send $91 billion to Ukraine, send another 25, 30 billion to Israel, and make damn sure that the incoming president cannot stop this. Am I crazy? Or is it, I mean, do you have a different perspective on this? Let me just pull up an article on the part of the bill that I'm talking about so I can show you guys so you don't think I'm just making it up. Let's see here. There we go. All right. This is Politico.com. Vance, foreign aid bill could get Trump impeached. Let me make sure it's showing on y'all's end. All right, good. Another Donald Trump impeachment over Ukraine funding. Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance says it's a possibility if the $95 billion emergency foreign aid spending bill becomes law and Trump wins the election. Vance distributed a memo to the Senate GOP offices on Monday arguing that the foreign aid measure could tie Trump's hands if he comes into office next year, wanting to pause the Ukraine funds as part of negotiations on ending the Russia war. So what they are flat out telling you is there will be no peace. And if Trump dares to even try to bring peace to those nations and stop killing everybody over there, we will impeach his ass. Are you seeing it yet? They don't give a damn about you and me. They don't care about this country. They will go to any lengths to fundamentally transform it, just as they have told you they were going to do since Obama ran for office. All you have to do is pay attention. The Democrats always tell you what they're going to do. And guys, as Dan Bongino says, the Republicans may not be the solution to all of our problems, but the Democrats damn sure are the cause of every one of our problems. Good Lord. Let me go back to it and read a little bit more. Where was I? Okay. That's because some of the legislation's funding expires 9 months into the presidency, effectively handcuffing a future President Trump from making his own decisions on Ukraine spending. Do I have any older people watching me right now? Have you ever seen this happen? And not only that, isn't it very telling who they think is going to win? They are telling you flat out, we believe that the people is going to vote for Donald Trump, so we're going to all go ahead and handcuff all of you, not just Trump. They're talking about you and me. They're trying to put you and me in our place as well. So much for diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So much for all that tolerant nonsense that you hear from the left. All right, let's see if we got any questions. What about American supplies? Well, that's the point, right? To deplete our supplies, put us in a state of emergency. We have over 10 million people who's come across this border, send our military off to fight over there, and then leave us wide open over here, right? But hey, guys, Ukraine's border is very important, right? This is a big FU to all of us. And I hope to God you're paying attention. Let's go watch another video. Again, guys, I have the live chat up. If you'd like to tell me your perception of this or what you think, I'm definitely in for it. All right, let's see here. Let's go with this one first.
One of the most preposterous arguments that I hear in defense of our policy in Ukraine is that it is bipartisan, that the experts know better. Perhaps Senator J.D. Vance doesn't know what the Joint Chiefs of Staff do. Perhaps the Republican base doesn't know what the experts in national security do. Maybe they, with their knowledge and their training and their intelligence briefings access, know something that the American people don't. So while the American people have grown more and more skeptical of this conflict, perhaps it makes sense that we should actually listen to the experts. And where have we heard that argument? So many times in the last many decades have we been asked to listen to the experts. And yet, we never actually ask what the track record of those experts is in matters of foreign policy. The experts, the bipartisan consensus, of course, got us into Vietnam, a war that lasted nearly 15 years, that saw the destruction of nearly 60,000 American lives, and for what? It was the bipartisan foreign policy consensus, the experts, that got us into a 20-year war in Afghanistan, where American taxpayers for 2 decades funded things like how to turn Afghanistan into a flowering democracy, or how to ensure that the Afghans had proper American thoughts about gender in the 21st century. Well, maybe that was a waste of money, and maybe the experts were wrong. Those same experts, of course, counseled us that we must invade Iraq because Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, and yet Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction, and the war led not only to the destruction of 5,000 American lives and many, many hundreds of thousands of innocent people beyond that, but also led to the regional empowerment of Iran, which now we are told by those same experts is the biggest problem that we face in the Middle East. Now those experts have a new crusade. Now those experts have a new thing that American taxpayers must fund, and must fund indefinitely, and it is called the conflict in Ukraine. Now we, at least most of us, I think, in this body, nearly all of us, I would hope, do not think that Ukraine deserved to be invaded. We certainly don't think that what has befallen the innocent civilians of Ukraine was deserved. We condemn it, as we should. But we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing there, not how we feel about it? What is our objective there, not how sad we feel about what's befallen the innocent civilians? We have to engage.
That is a good point. What is our end objective? How does it actually help America, American citizens, in our interest to continue to fund something that Ukraine's already lost? Who are the ones actually getting people killed by continuing on with this? Our politicians are. By continually funding this, sending all of our supplies over there, while manipulating us into saying, if you don't do this, we're going to start sending your children over there. How quickly we forget. Everybody was up in arms after 9/11 and what Bush did and sent everybody over there. But now that a Democrat's doing it, oh guys, it's for the good reason. It's for the right reason. And all the bigots on the right are just trying to get you to not do help Ukraine, not help everybody else, you know. While again, our border's wide open and people are just rushing in and taking all of our resources away. He wants to send $95 billion more that we don't have to fund a war, and nobody can actually tell us what the freaking goals are with this war, other than mean old Putin or MAGA Republicans. I mean, seriously? Let's go to another clip real quick, guys. Sharon said it is a slap in our face, and we're the ones paying these idiots. That's right. That's right. It's a big money laundering scheme. I mean, how much does Nancy Pelosi make? 100 and let's just say 50,000 a year. Let's be generous. The woman is worth $120 million. How in the hell do you pull that off? But they call us the crooks. They call us the people who are deplorables. Wow. Let's check this clip out.
Thank you guys for coming. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Matt and Ms. Stefanik, for leading on this. You know what I love about this? Watching where President Trump is at in the polls. I love it because it shows the American people don't trust you guys. And they shouldn't, because you guys are full of it and everybody knows it. There's a few honest journalists in this town, but they're very few and far between. Amen. You know how I know it wasn't an insurrection? Because he hasn't been charged with insurrection. And we can all see by the lawfare how he's facing up over 700 years in jail right now, how they've tried to destroy this man, destroy his businesses, that if they felt they had an inkling of a chance of convicting President Trump of jaywalking or insurrection, they would absolutely charge him. You know how else I know it's not an insurrection? Because this is the first insurrection in the history of the world where the people that were a part of it were unarmed. Pretty hard to do if you walk around and see how many individuals are carrying firearms. All right. Last thing I want to say about how I know it's not an insurrection is because I actually listened to the words of the president. If you're trying to stoke an insurrection, you don't tell the people listening, hey, I want you to go over there peacefully and patriotically. All right. This is not an insurrection. What it is a party that's scared to death of this man because he's America first. And he's shown time and time again, he's willing to bust up the swamp, and he continues to beat you like a drum. That's what this is really about. And for all you journalists out there, you know, that are pretty cowardly, some in this room right now, you don't have the balls to write the truth. And even if you did, your publishers wouldn't publish it because you're a part of a propaganda outlet, probably one of the biggest in the history of the world. If you had any courage, I want you to ask some questions about that day, January 6th, that we keep talking about. Why has the pipe bomber not been caught yet? Huh? Why has the pipe bomber not been caught? The one individual that could have committed multiple mass casualties has not been caught yet. Go follow some of
Plan B.
Beatty's reporting over at Revolver News. He's got some evidence for you guys. What's going on up here with January 6th is there's a pretty big cover up actually going on up here in Capitol Hill about some of the involvement of our government. And it's quite unsavory. And I want to acknowledge Rep. Massey's work on this lately and others who have been trying to
I'll stop it there. He nails it. I mean, we need more people standing up and doing that very thing, telling them to their face. Don't even answer their stupid questions anymore because you know it's all a trap to try and make you look like the bad guy. Stop playing these people's games. And we all should be calling our senators and asking, what in the hell do you think you're doing? Y'all have completely given up on giving a damn about what the people actually want, and you flat out give us the big middle finger. You steal our money. You're going to send it over there, and then you slip something into the bill because you're a slippery little snake that's going to impeach the person that you know the people want to vote for. Who are the bad guys again? Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, kindly smash that like button, comment below. I will stay on and talk for a few minutes if anybody wants to talk with me. If you have any comments or questions, I sure would like to hear your opinion on this and tell me what you think about what they did, because it wasn't 2 weeks ago that the whole reason they were even voting on that stuff to begin with was because what was happening at our border, but they went behind our backs, took it completely out, said, F you, we're going to do what we want. At what point do we, the people, not go up there, physically take these people out of their chairs and say, get out of our house? Our Constitution gives us that authority over them. Never forget that. They know that, and that's what they're afraid of. God bless. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching.